Amber.
Thank you for having me.
Amber is going to be one of 53 authors that's going to be at the Festival of Books and Creativity at the end of June in Novi, Michigan.
I'm so excited about it.
It is going to be exciting to have that many authors in one location. And we're going to have 280 book titles. So people need to bring their wagons to.
Wagons, a bag, something.
Yep. Backpacks, whatever you can.
Wagons are probably better.
Yeah, wagons would be easier. You have paranormal, romance, and urban fantasy. Tell us about your books.
Well, I put out the Bluebird Chronicles, which is a four-book quartet.
Okay.
That came out last year. It is the introduction into my arcane world that I've created. I'll get more into that with the next series starting next year. Excuse me. But there's vampires, werewolves, demons. The story mostly focuses on Reed, who is he's a vampire. He works in the local government of the area, and his twin flame, Penelope, who is a human. And they meet, and it creates a lot of complications for them because in my world, everybody's known about vampires for like 100 years, but they're like the cannibalistic tribes. We know they exist, but I'm not off looking for them. So, it's like, okay, vampires are a thing, but unless they're causing problems, I'm just going to pretend I don't know.
Right.
So to speak, because they can blend in. So that's been her viewpoint on it. And she goes to a party with her best friend. She's wanted a weekend with her best friend. Shows up at the party. Oh, by the way, everybody in the house is a vampire. Oh, okay. And they're like, why aren't you more upset? She's like, well, A, I've been drinking. And B,
Yeah.
B, my best friend has been here all summer. If you were going to hurt her, you would have done it by now.
True.
Also, she wouldn't bring me somewhere where I would be in danger. Ergo, I feel like I can get drunk and I really need that shot now because I didn't know you were vampires 5 minutes ago. Please let me have that shot. So they get along really well, but it's back and forth quite a bit. He's a single dad. He's got a Dampier that he adopted when she was 2 days old. She's off in college now, like she's older. She's not at home, but he's still very much a girl dad. The arcane royal family is about 6 people, and he's the last prince. So it's dwindling out to nothing, and he's the last prince. So he kind of gets away with a little bit more than other people, but he doesn't use that unless he needs to. He prefers to just be Reed, just be that guy. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic because depending on where they are and what they're doing, it depends on how people react to him. And okay. Penelope is kind of finding out there's this whole big world that she knew nothing about. And now things are trying to kill her just because of who she is dating. It has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with him. And that comes back to issues that happened when vampires exposed themselves to humans. It may or may not have been his fault. So it's all a little twisted.
Do you have any books on hand that you can show the book covers?
I was going to bring them. I keep them upstairs, locked away because we have animals, so I keep them in safe containers in our Michigan room. The door won't open, so I can't. I fought with it for like 20 minutes yesterday, so I can't get into it. I'm kind of hoping that I don't have to climb through a window get in there and get them out. So at the moment, I do not.
Okay.
I was looking around earlier before this. I was like, do I have any out down here? No. Any of them? Yeah. Bring them here. Yes, please. My mom's got 3 of them. I don't know which 3
Oh.
she has, but she has 3 of them. Probably the first 3. That will be helpful. I didn't think about that.
So this is a 4-book
Yep.
series, and then do you have more aside from that?
I have a novella
Okay.
that includes arcane characters. I also, by the time this event comes around, I will have put out 2 contemporary romance books as well. So I'll have those as well. They're not quite done. The one is in editing, and that one's called Unwritten Spark. It's a friends to lovers, second chance kind of romance, and then the other one is called One Infinite July, and that one is it's also a second chance, but it's a little bit different. I haven't fully figured out exactly how to which tropes to label that one as, because it's not your typical. The couple at the beginning of the book is not the couple at the end of the book. So like it is a best friends to lovers. It also is a breakup but still friends. It's also a new love. It's also like it's LGBTQ plus main character. You know, like it's an interesting story. But as far as marketing it, I'm still narrowing in on which tropes I want to tell people it is so that they want to read it. Okay, so I have the first 3 books. Let's see if they'll show up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hold it right in front. Ooh, you disappeared.
So I disappeared completely.
Yep. Okay. Awesome.
Okay, that's the first one.
Okay.
Let's see. This is the second one.
Yeah, raise it just a smidge. Awesome.
It's like it wasn't right in front of the staircase. I'm working on revamping it so I can put something up so that it blocks the staircase, but there's a door at the top of the staircase.
Oh.
So it's just light.
And
then this is the third one, and it's my favorite. Although the covers are
I like that
now
one.
instead of. But this is my favorite one. And then the 4th book it's very similar. My covers are probably the best thing about these books. Don't get me wrong, I love the story, but I've sat with this story for like 15 years.
Okay.
Just making it better and better. So to me, the story is kind of old hat. But so the covers were like the new thing, and it was very, very exciting. The 3rd cover is my favorite one, and I cried the first time I saw it. My cover designer did such a good job. She was like, oh, by that point she was like, here you go. And I was like, yes, exactly that. She needed one minor tweak and she had the whole thing done in one go. And I was like, you're a gem and I love you.
It is so nice to be able to work with a cover designer that really captures exactly what you want on the cover.
Oh yeah, especially because I had no idea what I wanted. When we talked about the first one, I was like, I don't know. Not people. That's what I got. She's like, talk to me about themes. What kind of themes are in it? Like, what's some symbolism? And that's kind of how we settled on the design that we did. And I was like, okay. And so when she sent the first one over, I was like completely floored. I was like, that's perfect. That's so great. We went back and forth a little bit playing with the colors on the first one. We did more changes to the first one than we did any of the other ones.
Oh yeah.
Because just trying to get it right that first time, and then there were minor tweaks here and there on the other 3. I think the 4th book had the biggest change after the first one. So it was an interesting experience, and I can't wait to go back to her because she's going to do all my arcane covers. Okay. She was worth every penny. and I paid her for those covers.
So, how did you find your illustrator, your cover designer?
So at the time I was working with a publishing company, Clan Whalen Publishing, and it actually still says that along the bottom of my books.
Mhm.
The publishing company is folded.
Mhm.
And so I am working with the publisher to hit my goal of sales
Mhm.
so they can recoup what they spent, um, and or the end of my contract, whichever comes first, and then I will have everything back. So they had actually put together a team of cover designers that they had found. They'd asked those of us in the company, like, hey, if you see a great cover designer, let us know. And one of the other authors on the label was like, hey, I saw this on Instagram and I think you guys should check it out. And I did. And I think I looked at 11 different cover designers, and hers I was like, I don't know what I want, but I want her to do it.
Mhm.
Her art was just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That's awesome. So you've got 4,
Mm-hmm.
plus you've got the novella,
Yep.
and then you've got the romance.
Yep.
Do you plot or do you just pants it and write as it comes?
I am a little of both
Okay.
because, like, especially my arcane world stuff is probably more plotted than
Mhm.
anything. But there's this series, and then there's the next series, is the Dom Hall Institute series, and it happens concurrently with the Bluebird Saga with different characters, and that's important because you have to care about the Bluebird characters, you have to care about the characters in Dom Hall, so that way when you go into the next one, you're like, oh, that's why we care. That's
Okay.
why that okay, now I see why we did this and then did this, because the characters in the Dom Hall Institute series, they're fully immersed in the arcane world. Whereas half the characters from the Bluebird Chronicles, it takes place on the outskirts of the arcane world. They're hardly ever there. It's mostly all done in, the world that we know and understand. So it was
Okay.
a really good starting point, um, to bring people into the world. And then, so I'm really excited about that. But so yeah, for that stuff, it's probably more plotted out than some of my other stuff. And I will, when it comes down to it, like the one Infinite July, which I'm working on right now, I have the main points outlined.
Mhm.
Like, this is what's supposed to, like, this is what the chapter has to achieve. This is how I see it happening. Any like bits and pieces of dialogue or
Mhm.
like anything, I'll put that down, and then I just kind of go, okay, those are my notes for this chapter. Let's write. I surprise myself 90% of the time. Sometimes stuff happens. The first draft of Blood Song, the first book in the Bluebird Chronicles, that's not where I planned to end it. That was
Oh.
not the ending I had in mind. And I wrote it and I went, I think I'm done. And I called my best friend. I was like, I think my book just ended itself. And she was like, what do you mean? And she comes over and she reads it and she goes, yeah, your book said, okay, I'm done. All right. I had like
The story's
3 more
complete.
things that were going to happen, and we'll go in the next book. It's like it just kind of, I plot certain things, big things, but then I kind of let it go because I'm just telling a story that's being told to me.
Mhm. 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 So, how did you get started writing all of these stories? What drew you into that world?
I I have loved books longer than I could read. My dad is a consummate storyteller. He
Mm.
would tell me these stories. It's like 45 minutes from my mom's house to my dad's house when I was
Okay.
growing up. So he would tell me stories in the car to keep me entertained. And so I fell in love with a good story
Mhm.
way before I could read. Once I learned to read, I read a lot. Anything to get my hands on. I was way above reading, grade level reading, way before my peers were. But it was just because I was consuming so much. And
Mhm.
my parents are also avid readers, so that helps.
Ah.
And so music, movie, TV show, book, as long as it's a good story, I like it. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what genre it falls into. And so in high school, I actually, my best friend had a dream, and I thought it sounded like it would make a great story. It's fan fiction. It was fan fiction, and so I wrote
Okay.
it. And I wrote the fan fiction, and it ended up being like 3 novel length
Oh,
books
wow.
of fan fiction that never ever will see the light of day. I'm pretty sure I burned it. It was terrible writing, but it kind of got me into it, and I really liked it. And then I wrote another one, 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 and I kept going. And eventually, the fan fictions turned into original stories, turned
Okay.
into, ideas and things like that. I mean, Bluebird Chronicles, I can't even take credit for the idea. My friend Stacy was telling me about an idea she was working on. And
Mhm.
2 days later, I had a very vivid dream, woke up in the middle of the night, wrote down a name and like 2 lines, and went back to sleep. And that was in 2009.
Okay.
So it's kind of grown into a life of its own and changed so much from the original ideas. But it kind of just started as writing out fan fictions because these great ideas sounded like they should be
Mhm.
stories that needed to be told, even if to nobody but myself. And it it hasn't stopped, and I'm all right with that.
That's awesome. So, you are from Michigan and
Mhm.
have always lived in Michigan, or have you
I grew up here, and then I
Mhm.
joined the Navy
Okay.
when I was 18, and I lived in Italy for 2 years, and I lived in
Oh.
Virginia for 2 years, and then I came back home, and I was here for a couple years, and then I went out to California because my
Mm.
brother-in-law is also in the Navy, and I stayed with some family. Um, Met my ex-husband. We got married, and then we got divorced, and so I came back home, and I've been here ever since.
So, what do you like to do when you're not writing or reading?
I'm sitting around a bonfire or playing cards with my brothers. We do a lot of stuff as a family, and so
Mhm.
we're sitting around a bonfire in my brother's backyard, at the campground, at a friend's house. We are bonfire. I'm gonna throw horseshoes in the backyard. Let's go
Hmm.
wander around the zoo, this park. Today I went to the bookstore. Kind of people. Because it's finding a balance has been fun, because now I've got it down where I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends all day. I didn't write anything yesterday, but I hung out with my family and we had good food. That
Oh,
counts for
hey.
nothing. So I play D&D.
Mhm.
I hang out by a fire, play board games with my nieces, and read so many books. And try to convince my dog not to eat paper.
Yes, dogs do like paper.
Yeah.
So do you have brothers? Do your
Mhm.
brothers make their way into your characters, or does any of your friends and family make make
There
appearances?
are little bits of people in characters. There's a character in the Bluebird Chronicles. His name is Rich. He's a cousin of Penelope's. He's named for my friend Rich,
Oh,
and
okay.
has been since the very first iteration of the story. It no longer resembles him in any way, shape, or form, but the name stuck.
Oh, okay.
Um, Penelope's dad, his parents were like from like his dad was American and his mom was English.
Mhm.
So were my grandparents. So I kind of stole that. Like,
Ah.
there's little things. Most of my kids, most of my nieces and nephews, and my grandkids can all find their middle name, their birthday, or some other thing of theirs in a story. In one of my stories or another, they can find something of their own, just because that's it makes me happy to do stuff like
That is
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you hit I mean, I'm reading your bio here. And you mentioned that you canoe down the same river
We
every year.
canoe. We canoe down the Ensemble every year.
Okay. I was just
We've
gonna say,
canoed down the. I went down the Ensemble the first time when I was 2 years old. We go every year because we go up north for the family reunion, and then we go
mhm.
canoe. And we did that the first time I was 2 years old. The first time I went, so we have a good time. We are doing shorter trips now than we were when I was younger, but we go out. We have a great time. We've kayaked, we've tubed, we've canoed. Last year we went down a different part of the ensemble than we've ever been down before, and we really
Oh.
liked it. Yeah, because normally we go to the same place, same drop point, same pickup.
Mhm.
It's exactly the same. Well, they did not have what we needed
Okay.
when we tried to make the reservation, so we ended up going to another place that was closer to my cousin's house.
Mhm.
Same river, but a different drop point, and it was so pretty. We really liked it, so I think we might go back there again.
A new favorite spot.
A new favorite spot on the same river.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person at the end of
Yes.
June. We're going to
Be
have
40 by then.
53 authors,
Yes.
about 46 genres, and about 280 book titles.
I'm so
So,
excited.
yes. So, I will see you. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you at the end of June.
I will see you there.
Thanks.